To declare a variable, you type a $sign, then a unique variable name. I'm going to store a user's name. A unique identifier could be just name. I will set this variable name equal to a string of text. So place your string of text within a set of double quotes. Add a semicolon to the end because we always do that. Why don't you enter in your first name? Then to display this variable as output, we can type our echo statement, then add the variable name. So type $name, semicolon. The data type of this variable is a string. It's a string of text, and it can include spaces. Add a space followed by your last name. As output, we're displaying my first name and my last name, all as one long string of text. If you echo a message directly, that is known as a string literal. I will display a message such as, hello, then I want to add this variable name. The easiest way to do that is to add a set of curly braces as a placeholder, and within the curly braces, add your variable name. So $name. Hello, whatever your name is. Let's add a few more variables. How about a food variable? What's a food you like? I like pizza, of course. Hello. Name? I'll display another message. Echo. You like, add our placeholder, our variable name, food. Let's save. I'm just going to add a line break. Hello, bro code. You like pizza. What's another example of a string? Maybe an email. Let's declare our variable, which we will name email. Add a set of quotes, semicolon to the end. fake@gmail.com. So let's add another line break. Let's echo your email is, add our placeholder for a variable, then our variable name, email. Your email is fake@gmail.com. That's the string data type. It's just a series of text. Your text can contain numbers, such as fake123@gmail.com. So even though these are numbers, we treat them more as characters. We can't use these for any sort of math. That's where our next data type comes in. Integers, whole integers. An example of a whole integer would be somebody's age. Let's say that I'm 21. Age equals 21. I'm not 21 anymore, but I like to think that I still am. The data contained within this variable age is an integer. We don't have any quotes around this number. I will echo my age variable. Echo, you are our variable age, years old. Let me add a line break here. There, you are 21 years old. An int is simply a whole integer. You know, somebody wouldn't be like half a year old, like 21.5. And age would be a whole number. Another example of a whole integer variable could be users. Let's create a variable named users, and there are maybe 2 users online. You wouldn't have half a user. Users would be a whole number. Let's echo the amount of users. There are, add a placeholder, our variable users online. There are 2 online. After the variable users, let's add the word users. There are 2 users online. One more example of a whole integer could be a quantity. You wouldn't have half a product, you would have a whole product. Let's create a variable named quantity. I'll just set it to 3. Okay, let's echo. You would like to buy our variable quantity items. Then a line break. You would like to buy 3 items. Okay, those are whole integers. Let's discuss floats next. A float is a floating point number. It's a number that contains a decimal portion. These variables are ints, integers. They're whole numbers. An example of a float could be a grade point average. Maybe my grade point average is 2.5. So let's echo. Your GPA is, then our GPA variable, then line break. Your GPA is 2.5. I think we're getting the hang of this. I'm going to speed things up. Another float could be a price. With American currency, a price contains dollars and cents, with the cents being a decimal portion. Suppose a pizza is $4.99. Let's echo. Your pizza is, I'll add my price variable. Your pizza is price. Line break. Your pizza is $4.99. I'm going to add the dollar sign before $4.99. But we have a problem. PHP is getting confused because we precede our variable names with the dollar sign. Undefined variable, $4.99. If you would like to display a dollar sign as output, you need an escape sequence. I will precede my dollar sign with a backslash. Then it works just fine. Let me add your. Your pizza is $4.99. So that's another example of a floating point number, a float. Another could be a tax rate. Tax rate. I'll make up a tax rate, like a sales tax rate. 5.1 sounds good. Let's echo. The sales tax rate is tax rate, I'm forgetting a dollar sign, tax rate percent, then a line break. The sales tax rate is 5.1%. Those are floats, floating point numbers. They're numbers that contain a decimal portion. Integers are whole numbers. The last data type we'll cover are booleans. Booleans are either true or they're false. It's like a light switch. It can only be on or off. So, what are some variables that could be considered booleans? What if somebody is employed? They either are employed or they're not. Employed equals true. Another could be online. Is somebody online or offline? Maybe a user's offline. I will set that to be false. What about for sale? Something is for sale or it's not for sale. I'll set that to be true. Now with booleans, when you display them as output, you don't see true or false. Rather, this is what you see. Let's echo online status, colon, then I'll add my Boolean variable online. So online is false. Online status, and then nothing appears. Boolean values, when you output them, if it's false, it doesn't display anything. However, if online was true, that will output a 1. 1 means true, 0 means false. However, we won't display 0. Nothing is displayed for false. Usually with Boolean variables, we don't normally display them as output. We use them internally within a program. We might use these within an if statement or a loop, which we'll discuss in the future. But at this point, you should be aware of the existence of Boolean variables. In summary, a Boolean variable is either true or false. I'm going to get rid of these echo statements. You can mix and match variables when you display output with echo. I will add 2 variables this time. Here's a hypothetical situation. You own a pizza restaurant and somebody places an online order for a given amount of pizzas. You have ordered, let's add our variable quantity, X, then our variable food. You have ordered 3x pizza. Let's add an S to the end to make it plural. You have ordered 3x pizzas. Then let's calculate a total. What I'm going to do now is declare a variable, but I'm not going to assign it a value quite yet. We will calculate a total. Total equals null. Null means no value. We'll add a value later. After displaying our message, you have ordered quantity X food. Let's reassign our total variable equal to our quantity times, to use multiplication, you use an asterisk, our variable price. So now our total should contain a number. Let's output it. Echo your total is, let's add our variable total and see what we have. Ooh, I need a line break. I'm forgetting about that. You have ordered 3x pizzas. Your total is $14.97. So I need to add a $sign, or you can pick some other unit of currency. However, PHP is currently confused because we're preceding our placeholder with a $sign. So I need to use an escape sequence. Your total is $14.97. Now in my program, if I were to change the quantity, well, this total is going to be updated. 4 pizzas is $19.96. If I were to change the price, that would also be reflected. Now the total is $23.96. Alright everybody, so those are variables. They are just a named container for storing reusable data. There are a few different data types. Strings, which are a series of text. Ints, which are whole integers. Floats, which are floating point numbers. And booleans, which are either true or false.